Hi YouTube, my name is Melissa and I want to talk to you about my archival research project I did for my English 102 class. We were asked to find 3 primary sources from 1949 or earlier and tell the story behind them. I decided to research archives from World War II. World War II was a major event in history during the 1940s and it affected the events of American history well into the 1990s and arguably even today. However, the war is more than just a point in history for me personally. All of my grandparents lived through the war, and both of my grandfathers served. Today, I'm proud to be the granddaughter of such a brave and strong generation that represents the true, resilient American spirit. So, for my first primary archive, I used war ration books. I actually have 2 that were both my great aunts. One is number 4 and one is number 3. You can see their names and they have different tips and writings on the back. On the back of this one especially, it talks about give your whole support to rationing and thereby conserve our vital goods. Be guided by the rule, if you don't need it, don't buy it. This really shows America's support of its soldiers and how these books were even used just to encourage teamwork and promote a sense of unity among Americans. For my second source, I found this really great article from the Chicago Daily Tribune on April 15, 1943. The article was titled 21 Million War Gardens in 43, FDA Estimates, Home Production to Aid Nation's Food Supply. And these victory gardens or war gardens were privately and publicly produced gardens to help aid the nation's food supply because there was a shortage because the nation was having to support its soldiers overseas. In the article, it actually says victory gardens will produce fresh vegetables for home use, thus releasing additional dehydrated and canned vegetables for shipment to overseas troops. So they were a great way for Americans to free up valuable resources for the armed forces. But it also more than just lessened Americans' reliance on rationed goods, but it represented the dedication of Americans to the war effort, and it really gave Americans a way to contribute to the war effort. And final primary source, I found a poster actually that was produced in the 1940s that was used to encourage Americans to contribute to the war effort and to conserve energy and resources. And as you can see, there's a man and a woman that are nicely dressed in coats. The only colors used, other than the brown background, are red, white, and blue. You can tell that the man and woman are probably financially stable and really could honestly probably afford their own private transportation. But yet, as seen on the article or on the poster, it says, "We've parked the car to win the war." So this poster is endorsing public transportation to free up valuable resources such as rubber and oil for use overseas in the war. The statement implies that the couple pictured sacrificed the conveniences of personal transportation to aid the war effort. And from this poster, it really illustrates the point that the war. From my research, I really got a sense of how supportive the American home front was during World War II. Not only was there government implemented practices such as war ration books, but there was this support from the American public that's shown through the victory gardens where they were willing to grow foods for themselves instead of rely on supermarkets and farmers to really provide food for them. And then the poster really shows the different kinds of advertisements and pushes there was to conserve energy and conserve resources in order for our troops to be properly supportive. it really all of these really show how enthusiastic America was about uniting under a single purpose for war. And that's really what I got out of this project. And I really respect and admire the generation for their support of the American war, and I'm still very proud of my grandparents' personal sacrifices they made.